minus 19 coulomb. And so always any particle except for particles like quarks which are found inside. Where are quarks found? Protons and neutrons. All others have multiple units of this electron charge. So why is it so? So is there some reason? So we are trying to look for if there is some violation of that. That's what this fractional charge particle. So let me start with by sharing with you some exciting discoveries which one can make or has already made. This is a selected list. Okay. You all are aware of this? Higgs boson discovery. When was it discovered? Huh? 4th of July 2012 is when Higgs boson was discovered, although it was hypothesized to exist close to 48 years earlier in 1964. Why was it an important discovery?
Because it gave mass to the...
It did not give, but through this discovery we know what is the mechanism for
mass
of fundamental particles like electrons or quarks. Okay, what is the mass of the electron, by the way? 9.1 I could hear. Rest? 31? It's not 0? Can you tell? 0.4? No, why don't you tell? 0.00? What would happen? Yes. Okay, he agreed that mass of the electron for all purpose can be taken as 0. What would happen if it was 0? Any other particle you know mass 0? What happens to photon? What would have happened if electron had mass 0? Will you form atoms and molecules?
No.
We won't exist. What would have happened if it was a 1,000 times smaller mass or a heavier mass? If electron mass was say 10,000 times smaller or 10,000 times larger, what would have happened? Any guess? Bohr radii, where does the mass of electron appear? Bohr radii, hydrogen atom, you have solved. 0.5 angstrom is the radius. Where does the mass of electron appear in Bohr radii expression? Numerator or denominator? Numerator. There can only two things. So where does it appear? Okay. So then the radii would have changed. We won't be 5 feet, 6 feet, we could have been millimeters or few meters. World won't look the same as you see. Are you happy with this world?
Yes.
That otherwise you won't be. So such an important discovery, through this people confirmed about origin of mass of fundamental particles like electrons and quarks. Second is gravitational waves. When was it discovered? It was, I think, September 2015 when gravitational waves were discovered. What is so important about it?
Generally, it comes from the black hole. So
Black hole, gravitational wave confirmed existence of black hole.
no.
Gravitational force works
Through this way.
this way.
So what? Why it is so important? It's a good thing. It's important to confirm that.
General relativity.
But that thing I think Arthur Eddington already did by looking at solar eclipse observation, this Einstein's cross, if you have come across. Yeah, so basically the Newton's gravitational force says force is instantaneous. And nothing, as you heard in the previous talk, can travel with speed greater. Information cannot go with speed greater than speed of light. So this is the way it travels. So this was discovered. You know what basic concept was used to discover it? Experimental. I'm not talking. It's Michelson interferometry technique. Have you done this experiment here, or have you seen that? Yes. Seen where? No, not video. Don't see video. Experiment you have to do by hand, not in videos. You have not seen? Have you done?
Yes, sir.
Where?
In our lab.
Lab.
In here?
In our lab.
Huh?
In our lab.
In our lab, man. Modern lab. Okay. You see interference pattern. How does it look?
Who said that he has done it?
Okay. If you have not done, of course, we will show you. If you, we'll see, so that you see. The other thing is, so these are two. Come on, you have to listen to me. I will listen to you afterwards. So these two has been confirmed. Then there is something called dark matter. I will discuss today. That is one thing which is not known, and we will address this today. There is something related to antimatter. When the universe was formed, it was expected that matter and antimatter should be in equal proportion. But what you see all around is mostly matter. Where is antimatter? Then does proton decay? There is a pioneering contribution from Professor Yogesh Pati on this, which, if observed, would lead to validation of the grand unified theory, when all forces came together at certain point in the universe. What about magnetic monopole? Does it exist? I mean, Maxwell's equation?
No.
Which equation?
Del dot.
How come Rohila? Del dot रहेगा, del cross रहेगा. Now divergence कुठे नाही यायला. Del dot ला तर चालतील आपण. Divergence होता actually. Del dot. ठीक आहे. Okay. Then we discussed a little bit on fractional charge. Why the particles that we see are mostly multiple of charge of electron, except of course fractional charge exists in quarks, which we do not see in nature. Then there are other things like supersymmetric, extra dimension, and some exotic hadrons. Why these hadrons have hadrons are of how many kinds? I mean, it can be broken up into two categories: mesons and baryons. Baryons are 3-quark or anti-quark 3 carrying objects, and mesons are quark and anti-quark carrying objects. But why not more? Okay. So what about gluons? Can they form also particles like mesons? So those are some things which are yet to be discovered. You see, the list is large. So there is a lot of scope for all of you to contribute. Okay? Okay, with this list, what I will be focusing today is on two things. This is was not my core area of research. It's only 6 to 7 years back I shifted to this in order to try to, if possible, make an experiment in India. Otherwise,
What was that extra dimension?
but those are. I'm not an expert on that. Maybe you talk to your sir. He will be able to tell more about it. But I will not cover all of them. I will only focus on these two. The list is very big and very broad. Okay. I'm not expert on all these. So in an aim to try to see if we can do something set up here, with that goal, I diverted from my core area of research into these two sub areas. I'm trying my best. I don't know what will happen. So let us come to first part is dark matter. This is the energy mass budget of the universe. Okay. Now how it is obtained? It is, for example, obtained by looking at one of the most perfect blackbody radiation. Have you read blackbody radiation?
Yes.
You have read. What is the most perfect, almost perfect black body radiation spectrum?
It sounds really.
Sound is a good example. Also, one example is cosmic microwave background radiation. So, using that information, this is the recent one by collaboration called Planck. We find that all that we see, the visible part of the universe, is about 5%. Rest we do not know. Do not know, but there are evidences that they exist. Those are clubbed as dark matter and dark energy. I will be only focusing on this dark matter. Okay? Now, is it a good thing to not know what the rest of the universe, or it's a bad thing? It's a good thing not to know. You are in a room. Sorry. Okay. Now, I have told you that you are in a room. You know there are 100 people, but you can only see 5. So then you need to join this effort to try to find out. So how does this come about? So science hypotheses often come from some abnormal observation. Even in general theory of relativity, it came by looking at some abnormal observations. Can you give everybody said yes? Can you give one example? You all said yes. Otherwise, everything was fine. Apple falling from the Okay, that you think about. But for my talk, dark matter, the existence of dark matter, I'll tell you why it is called dark, is abnormal galaxy rotation speeds. I will explain in the next slide. When you look at the universe, how the galaxies are arranged in this universe, it has some pattern. So large scale structure of the universe and something called bullet clusters. These are some of there is some dark effect.
No, see, power कभी तो lose कभी. No, see the power no.
Okay. So these I will not have time to discuss all the 3 or 4 evidences which tells that dark matter exists. I will only tell about one of the observation, which is abnormal galaxy rotation. Asti. Dark energy. Okay. So, how many of you know this rotational velocity formula? Classical. Rotation plus today. But how do you know the expression? V equal to R into omega. V equal to root over Gm by R. Okay, that is actually valid. For example, if you look at the orbital speed of planets and you plot it as a function of mean distance from sun, it goes as that. Okay, how does it go? As 1 by root over 1 by r. That is what you expect. Now, when people try to measure this rotational speeds of galaxies, okay, they didn't see this curve falling. They found it is something like this and then saturating. How can that happen? That can only happen if you look at this formula. That can only happen if something here has to balance this, right? So that it changes this. But that's from the concept of missing mass. Okay, but they were not able to detect it because it was sort of not undergoing interaction. How do you detect something? You have to make them interact. Okay. So, but it was not interacting, it was not luminous, so they were not able to detect it. That is why it is called as dark matter. There is some mass missing, this is just one evidence which shows that the curves which seems to work, which we know, doesn't seem to work here when we are looking at the galaxy scales. So there must be some missing mass, but those mass is what we are not able to observe directly through ordinary interactions, electromagnetic interactions, for example, and hence it is clubbed together as dark matter. Okay. Now, this is from just by measuring about the, okay, how do you measure, how do you know, for example, the distance of a star? One is parallax method. Okay. So if you know the distance and time scales, you can get the velocities, right? So those observations. This has been done long back. Okay. So this is just one example of dark matter. So what do we know about it? I have summarized here. Now you know, do you all know what is a standard model of particle physics? Standard model of particle physics. There are how many kind of interactions are there in nature? What are they? Strong force. What is strong force? The one which binds quarks and gluons inside hadrons like protons and neutrons and binds protons and neutrons to form nucleus. Electromagnetic interaction, for example, which binds electrons and the positively charged nucleus. It is between electrical charge particles to form atoms. Then there is weak force, which you see in the phenomena of radioactivity. And then you have gravitational force, right? So the standard model includes these three, okay? And then you have fundamental particles. What are fundamental particles? The 6 kind of quarks and their antiparticles. Then there are leptons, like electrons, and neutrinos, and then there are force particles like photons, gluons, and we added W plus minus and Z bosons, and then we added Higgs boson also. Okay, they constitute the standard model. What we found is that what people have found is that dark matter doesn't have these interactions. But it certainly has gravitational interaction, otherwise how did it modify the velocity curves and other examples which I did not discuss? So it has that interaction. That is first thing. Since it does not have these interactions, it cannot be a standard model particle, because standard model includes these interactions. It has not incorporated gravity. What else? It doesn't have any color charge. Do you know which particles carry color charge? Quarks and gluons carry color charge. It doesn't undergo strong interaction. Which one? The dark matter part. Then it doesn't have any electric charge, otherwise you would have detected it. It has no self-interaction. There are examples available which tells that it doesn't have any self-interactions. For example, this bullet cluster formation where 2 galaxies crossed each other suggests that it doesn't have self-interaction. It is not relativistic. Okay, so that's why we call it as cold. And it is stable and long-lived. So people have made the measurements of these signatures of dark matter over a period of time. It still is valid. So these are the properties. Okay? Doesn't undertake strong interactions, electromagnetic interactions, no self-interaction, long-lived, and non-relativistic. Okay? Now the question is, okay, these are what we know. What do we not know about the dark matter? We do not know what it is made up of. This matter, like ordinary matter, are made up of, say, atoms, molecules, which are in turn made up of quarks, gluons, and electrons. So what are these made up of? We do not know what particles are responsible. We do not know if there exist dark atoms, dark molecules, or dark universe. Does it have its own periodic table? We do not know. We do not know if the dark matter always existed in universe or it was created after some time. Will this dark matter be eternally stable forever? We do not know. Will it someday decay? We do not know. But what we have found is that what people have found indirectly is matter to dark matter ratio seems to have remained same since the beginning of the universe. So these are things which we do not know. In the previous slide, I said things which we know. Okay, this we do not know. With this background, now that so many things are not known, of course, some things are known. Now theory has a free hand to predict what it can be. So this is the prediction. It can be anything with mass. What is this? Micro EV to TeV. Okay, these are people have started, and of course, what you see in the y-axis is what is the interaction strength relative to neutrino. Neutrino, do you know neutrino? Where did you study it? Huh? Beta decay. Okay, very good. Who postulated the idea of existence of neutrino? हैं? ये तो पूरा धीरे धीरे पहले करते हो खाली बीटा डी के थ्योरी टा पढ़ा वाला ना कौन हुआ ही नहीं ना हुआ ही चल काम तो पढ़ चुके ओके neutrino is neutral particle right of does it have mass or it doesn't have mass no mass change now that it is now proved to have mass. The absolute value is not known. How it is known it has mass? Which experiment? There is something called neutrino oscillations, which were observed, from which we know that it has a non-zero mass. The absolute mass is not known. Actually, this department is collaborating in an experiment called INO, Indian Neutrino Observatory. So that is trying to answer that question. So it doesn't interact much, and you can see the different kinds of particles which are proposed and what is their strength. They are billion times weaker than neutrino interacting with matter, 10 to the power minus 12 times, 18 times. So what are the theory telling? It can have this scale and it is very less interactive. Okay, how do you reflect interaction? By measuring what quantity? Silence. Energy. The energy. Have you come across the word cross section? Unit first. Cross section no unit. Area unit. So it is the area exposed, so it reflects also the strength or amount of interactions, right? For small things, usually you use unit called bar, millibar, bar, right? Okay, very good. So this is the scenario. All these possibilities exist, and it is interacting very less. So now we are experimentalists. We want to see if this exists, and we do not know where to search. Okay. Anyway, so how experiments are done? There are three ways to do it. One is called collider. Collider, for example, Large Hadron Collider, which discovered Higgs boson. Here also colleagues in, there are alumni from here who are working on these collider experiments, like Sanjay Swain, Gagan Mohanty. They are working directly on this. What they do, two standard model particles are collided. Okay? And that energy that goes in, you expect that dark matter will be produced. Energy mass equivalence allows for possibility of forming particles of different mass. So what they do in the experiment, once they collide two standard model particles, like two protons, you collide, and then you find out all the other particles produced. You add up their energy. If something is missing compared to the input energy, then you can attribute that okay, something new has been produced which doesn't interact, so we did not detect it. It could be a dark matter candidate. Okay? It will give you an idea of the scale of the mass of the particle or energy scale. That is one way. What is the other way? There are dark matter present in the universe. They can collide and produce standard model particles. Reverse what I told in collider. Same thing can happen. So if you detect something at very high energy, then coming from outside, then you may say that okay, this could be a possible candidate. Actually, there is a, what is that called? Maze or Mace? I'm forgetting. M-A-Z-E or M-A-C, Mace, I think. Mace telescope, huge telescope has been built by Department of Atomic Energy, and they are putting it in this Leh and Ladakh region to measure high energy gamma. Okay, this could be one of the candidates from this process, like dark matter collided and gave rise to a high energy photon. Okay, then what is the other one which we are trying to look is dark matter collides with a standard model, and then dark matter goes away and the standard model particle goes away. That is the process. So standard model means the things which you see all around. We make detectors, dark matter comes and collides, and then we try to detect it. What is the principle? Principle is elastic scattering. The idea that you can detect was given by Edward Witten and Goodman in 1985. So dark matter particle comes, it elastically scatters off the detector nuclei. When it hits the detector nuclei, the nuclei will recoil, right? Right? Elastic scattering, it transfers some energy. What will happen to the nuclei? It will recoil. And when it tries to come back to its the usual configuration, there will be energy. So if you can measure this energy, then maybe, and rule out all other particles which have hit your detector, then possibly a dark matter particle came and hit. You understand? Any other particle can also come and hit. No? So you have to rule out all other particles, and if you can measure this recoil energy, then you have detected a dark matter particle. That is the concept. Is it clear? So now
What's the process of ruling out other particles?
So you will see it is very complex. So we have to shield our detector so that nothing comes there. We have to go underground. Okay. So that is the challenge. Not only that is the challenge, also the recoil energies are very small. Okay. What is the energy of a particle in this room?
Electron volt.
How did you know? Wavelength frequency, you told. Kahan measure kiya wavelength? Just from temperature you can tell.
KT.
KT. So point
Minus 3 order,
minus 23. Joule full mount unit koyo na. Na EV re koyo. Mo joule dot ko ene convert kare. Wahan EV data minus 19. How to calculate both? So it is in EV range. Okay, so this we have to detect. Did you understand the detection? Basically, dark matter particle comes, hits the nuclei of the detector. The nuclei of the detector recoils, and this recoil energy is what we want to measure. Okay, very good. Now, this when we are going to detect, we have to detect some signal. There can be three possibilities of signal. What are they? It could be this recoil energy that is imparted could manifest as heat, light, or lead to some charge. Is there any other way? जो energy, how will I detect? I have to detect something. I will either detect a charge or a heat or a light. What else? Okay, let us go ahead with these three. Now there are, you can see experiments making detectors to detect this output, which would be the energy is converted to light, heat or charge. Now these set of experiments look for charge. This is light, scintillation, and this is heat, phonon. You know what is phonon? Yes, no. You said vigorously nodded his head. Phonon, but click to
quantization of lattice vibration.
lattice vibration. Okay. So this, so when this recoil energy is imparted, then this lattice vibration can lead to generation of phonons, or other words, in some form of heat. So these are the experiments. Now, to make the experiment better, so that you have a better handle on signal to background, if you have multiple measurements from the detector, then you can use that information to remove many backgrounds. So in this Venn diagram, this overlap region, because they could not get the signal, they started using this both phonon and scintillation. Similarly, both charge and phonon and charge and scintillation. So far, we have not found a material which will give all three. It's a challenge. If you find, then it's a big contribution. So far, we have not found that dark matter particle hits. All the three forms of energies are possible, but to detect them, there has to be material which will lead to ionization or scintillation and heat. All three are not yet found. This is something very interesting you should look for. Now what we do, there is one experiment. So in order to set up any experiment here, in future if possible, if there are enough people, first step we took is try to join an existing experiment and get ourselves trained and understand how it is done. One such experiment is called Super CDMS. Now, by the time we joined, that experiment was over. So now they are making another experiment of a higher version in Snow Lab, which is in Canada. That's where we are participating. But the data that they took in this experiment is available to us to look and get expertise. How does this data look? How is to be analyzed and understand the features? This experiment was in Sudan mine in Minnesota in US. It has a depth from the it is underground 713 meter. Usually in these experiments we express the depth in terms of meter water equivalent. You have to standardize. Otherwise different materials have different density. I mean, so how to say put a common depth so that you can compare one site with respect to other. So it is water equivalent. How many meters of water equivalent to that? What is the depth? Okay. Now, why we go underground? To reduce backgrounds. For example, neutrons. Neutrons are neutral particles. They do not undertake electromagnetic interactions, do they? Huh? They do not. They have spin and they have mass to definitely. That is what is relevant to Ampai. Because neutron can mimic a dark matter. It can undertake elastic scattering and but how would it want to neutron? It has some magnetic moment. Kete? Mana nahi? Achi. Oh, this is a neutral particle. It's a problem because it has mass and a neutral particle. It can lead to this recoil energy. So we have to reduce that. So if I go under this mine to this, then it is, if I have a detector of 1 kilogram, I reduce the background to 1 neutron in 1 year. So in 1 year, only 1 neutron can reach my detector. So that is why you go. These are the detectors. Okay, I will come to it. And this is how it is arranged. The detectors typically are 1 centimeter thick to 7.6 centimeter diameter, and height is 2.5 centimeter. They are stacked on layers and put in what is called a dilution refrigerator. Why dilution refrigerator? Because we want to measure this recoil energy, which are very small. But there could be thermal energy, which is of the order okay, that is one particle. So thermal energies could be easily of the order of keV, and the recoil energies are also less than or equal to that. So you try to make your system at milli-Kelvin temperatures so that you are not disturbed by thermal noise. So these are just the pictures of some detectors. We will also use shielding. Okay, maybe in the next one you will find much more in detail. You see, this is a typical arrangement. Okay, this is a rail on which the detectors are kept, and you can see that there are different layers of shielding. Okay, why the shieldings are there? To remove all other particles coming from each other, coming into the system. Otherwise, we do not know what caused the signal. Not only you go underground, but you have to also shield your detectors to make it such that only dark matter which doesn't interact through standard processes will pass through. Rest cannot. Neutrinos, of course, can pass through. That's a background which we cannot remove. I will come to it. Okay, so this is the typical picture of how the lab is, the setup is, and then particles come in and hit. Now, what is the principle of detector? Now, you have a detector which is made up of germanium or silicon. Okay? And you have a bias voltage applied. Now, when a dark matter particle or a fractionally charged particle goes through, it causes recoil, hits the elastically scatters of this silicon nuclei or the germanium nuclei. Then this leads to recoil of the nucleus. Now this recoil energy will lead to production of electron hole pairs. These electron hole pairs you can collect by because you have given a bias voltage. Now, before that, this is the process of ionization. Now, what else we can do? Now, when this dark matter or fractionally charged particle hits the nuclei, also it leads to lattice vibration or generation of phonons or heat. Now, if I operate the detector, my sensors at superconducting temperatures. So, suppose I keep, this is resistance versus temperature. Okay, when the resistance goes to 0, then it is superconducting state. Okay, there is a critical temperature below which it goes to 0. Now I have to make a system, the detectors to operate at that particular critical temperature. Now when dark matter hits, it led to lattice vibration, generation of heat. As a result, the temperature increased. When the temperature increased, there is a jump in resistance value, and that is how you detect. Okay, so we use some things called squids, which reads out basically what we measure is deficit in Joule heating due to increase in resistance. Okay, this R changed, you have applied a particular fixed bias voltage, because of change in R, you find out what is the energy deposited. That is the principle. Okay, one is ionization, another is phonon. These are the two processes by which we detect. Now, let me just go to tell you how what is the current status of these experiments. you have measured this recoil energy, then this energy, now okay, one more aspect. When do you think maximum energy can be transferred between two particles elastically scattering? Head on. How condition? Elastic scattering. Complicated when their masses are of the same order, na? So, but I mean dark matter mass. So, whatever recoil energy we get, it can be, and also the way it interacts, both are unknown. So, usually one plots, you measure some signal, that signal can come from this probability of interaction and this particular mass, or another probability of interaction and another mass. Okay, this is a variable space. So that is why the results are plotted as a function of mass, and this is the cross section. Again you see unit of area, cross section. Now you can see this region, okay, this shaded region from here. Okay, there are different experiment names are there. This is our experiment, for example, CDMS, here is our experiment. Now, what does this region tells? This region, let's take one point in this region. Let's take this point. Okay, 100 and 10 to the power minus 43. What does it tell? This tells that a dark matter candidate of mass 100 GeV and interaction cross section of 10 to the power minus 43 centimeters square does not exist. You take another point, 1000 and say 10 to the power minus 39. What does it tell? This particular mass of dark matter with this cross section is been ruled out. That is how you interpret. So this region of phase space is ruled out. There are some islands you can see. They have seen some promising signals. Okay, not yet the signal to background is not sufficient to tell that we have claimed something interesting. So, experiments are going ahead to reduce the measurement uncertainty and see what happens. So, is it clear? This region of cross section versus mass is ruled out. What is here in the white space is available for us to search. So gradually we are doing more and more elaborate detailed experiments and trying to see in which such space, if that candidate exists, where is it? And you can see another is this yellow one. Okay, what does it tell? Now you take any point. So suppose a dark matter of 1 GeV by c square mass and 10 to the power minus 47. If it exists, experiments that we do will not be able to differentiate whether it was because neutrino hitting my detector or dark matter hitting. So this is the neutrino flow. The experiment direct dark, remember I told you there are 3 ways to look for dark matter. Standard model particles going, dark matter coming and producing standard model, and direct. This direct, guys, if we reach here, after that we cannot tell whether our experiment is seeing any dark matter or neutrino. Okay. But, so this is a very important region. Okay. So how do we get this? This is scattering of neutrino with the nucleus. Just like dark matter came and scattered, similarly when neutrino comes and scatters, we cannot differentiate. So there is dedicated experiment to measure this background. This is called neutrino flow, or this is irreducible background for dark matter search. So there are now dedicated experiments to measure how accurate is this, because this search space is rapidly moving towards this. Okay? How do we do this? We can do this in our reactors. So one of the experiments we are trying to set up in Apsara reactor in VRC, there is again meeting on 27, 28 where the VRC group are arriving here, is to measure accurately where is this. Okay? By using the neutrinos coming out of the reactors, neutrinos come out, you know, through fission process. Kete ase, keteta on average kete neutrino. Neutron kohni, neutrino. ये तीनटा. Okay, fission tal पढ़िया पड़िबो. सेटा जा सब पढुछ सब दरकार होछि एबे. It is directly related. Okay, anyway, so this is what is the situation. So this part and this part is available. Okay. Now,
graph like that.
huh?
Why is the graph like that?
Why is the graph like that? Okay, why there are minimas like this? You can expect, suppose I build an experiment of a material which is elastic scattering, the mass of the nuclei will be more sensitive to the dark matter which has mass close to the mass of the material which we made the detector. So that is why you see roughly different experiments having minimas at different places. Now this space is there and this space is there. How do we go? How do we build experiment? Now this space means we are trying to detect low mass dark matter. Low mass mane also every detector, whenever you measure a signal, you have to put a threshold to remove the noise. Okay? Lower the mass, lower is the signal. So we have to build detectors which can operate at smaller and smaller threshold. Okay. Lower the mass, if you have to go for detectors with lower atomic mass, because then only maximum energy will be transferred. So you have to build detectors of low threshold and atomic mass to search this. How to go this way? This way means you have to take observations for a long time, because this is the cross section, interaction probability. So you have to build huge detectors and wait for long duration. Then only you can go this direction. Okay. Okay. So this is one of my students who is working on trying to figure out the experiment which we are in, which will take data in 2024. What space it will cover. Remember, this is the shaded portion I showed in the previous slide. We will be searching this part of the available space. Okay. Okay. This looks like this, but the preparation behind it all lies how well we can detect backgrounds like neutrons and how well we can build our detectors. So we have started setting up with 5-6 years of how nicely can we detect neutrons. Okay, this is in NICER lab trying to make detectors of different kinds which can help in detecting neutrons, so that we can put VITO. You know what is VITO? VITO means like that gate, na? How many kind of gates you know? Electronics se padhai nahi. So VITO is what kind of gate? NOR gate ta kon seta puri kon.
Universal.
So VITO is something that you try use it to remove that contribution. Okay. So suppose you have a detector and you have neutron detectors all around, and you are measuring the signal as a function of time. If at the similar time scale you see signal in the neutron detector as well as in your detector, that means that could be due to neutron. So you remove that. Okay, that is how VITO works. So one thing is you have to develop these neutron detectors where you can VITO out these neutrons. Second thing is, here are the master students. This is Sarada Prasad Sahu. He is now gone to Texas A&M to do PhD. He is Himanshu Niyog. He did, both of them did master's thesis on detector developments at NICER, and he is now in Minnesota as a postdoctoral fellow at University of Minnesota, which I hire PhD students. So we try to build different kind of detectors, silicon, some hybrid detectors, some sapphire detector. Sapphire is made up of Sapphire. Sapphire kon jancho? Nobody is wearing sapphire? Mota uta pinto. This is aluminium oxide. Al2O3. Okay. Now you can see that it is much better for low mass among the silicon and germanium. This is better. In addition, to pick up signals, you use aluminiums. Okay. So if the detector is made up of aluminium and the signal, to take the signal, those are also made of aluminium, then there is a better connectivity. Signal losses are less. So just to give you a glimpse that this is in a very close collaboration with Professor Rupak Mahapatra, who belongs to Bhubaneswar. He's actually here. We'll have a meeting with Texas group. They are one of the rare groups who have pioneered this technology to build detector. He is a full professor in Texas A&M University. Okay, as I said, you have to build detectors which can operate at lower threshold and better signal to background. So usually this is a picture of the dilution fridge, where here you can mount the detectors and you will complete the circuit, and this unit will cool it down to millikelvin, and then you make measurements. This shows the discrimination. This is, for example, electron giving signal in the detector, and this is neutron giving signal. Remember, neutron mimics dark matter, but I cannot have dark matter in laboratory. So, but electrons are also background. So you can clearly see that we can separate based on, if I put a cut here, then electrons are rejected. Backgrounds coming from particles which carry charge can be removed, and what remains below are those coming from neutral particles. If I veto out the neutrons, then whatever will remain is potential dark matter candidates. Okay? We are also working to measure as small a signal as possible. This you can see here, there is a number 1 electron hole pair. We have made a detector which is now published with Texas group, where you can detect if there is 1 electron hole pair created. So that level of sensitivity we have reached in the labs. Okay, so that is what is about the dark matter effort. So far, low mass dark matter space is available to search in direct dark matter search experiments. Okay, and so far no candidates have been found. Next I will go to the fractional charge particle. This is work done by Samir Banik. This is his corresponding author PRL paper. This came out in August 2021. Now this fractionally charged particle, also called as lightly ionizing particle. Do you know about Bethe and Bloch? You know about that? Bethe? Hans Bethe? Bethe sunna? How should silence is which part? Oh, good. Our Bloch, it is Bloch sphere. Sunla. Bethe and Bloch told us that whenever a charged particle passes through a material and there is Coulombic interaction or electromagnetic interaction, how will it lose energy? It is formula. It's a complicated someone they gave up to this. But then there were subsequent improvement, corrections, relativistic effect. So this is the formula. But dominantly, you can see it depends on beta square. Beta square means V by C the square. So it goes inversely as the square of the velocity of the particle. Quanta, energy loss. The charged particle goes through a medium, it will lose energy due to electromagnetic interaction. How does this energy loss goes? In a particular material. All other depends on material parameters. It goes as 1 by V square. Okay? Now, what what does lightly ionizing particle means? Acha, another point. You can see there is a Z square sitting here. Okay? So it goes as square of the charge and inversely proportional to the square of the velocity. So if there is fractional charge, means some fraction of electron charge, say 1/100th of electron charge, what will happen to energy loss? A minus sign touch because there is loss. So what will happen compared to say pion or a proton which has charge? Proton has plus 1 unit of electric charge, electron charge, right? So compared to that, if I have a particle which has 1/100th of the charge carried by electron, the energy loss will be less, na? 1/100 square. So that is why it is called lightly ionizing, because they will lose less energy. They will lose less energy by ionization process. So we are trying to search for this. Now, so what is the basic question one is asking? As you rightly told that the charge carried by an electron is this. Who measured it? Huh? Thomson charge measured the lake. Paricha, say experiment or no? Okay, so we will set up the say experiment set up and go to achieve. We can sometimes show you all how this data E by M measured, right? Okay, very good. Now, so basic question is, why are the particles that we see generally have, apart from these quarks which are not seen in free state, why do they come in integral multiple of this charge? Okay. There is no reason that such fractional charge particles should not exist a priori. Okay. Of course, fractional charge particles like quarks and gluons, people know they exist. How they know? But they are not freely seen. केम जानले क्वार्क अच्छी ग्लूऑन अच्छी काउ कोलाइड
पार्टिकल को कोलाइड जो एलिमेंटल पार्टिकल जो डिटेक्ट करी
अच्छा क्वार्क का ग्लूऑन अच्छी केम जाने मैंने बिना देखी गिरी
सर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड चार्ज हिसाब से हमारे रोटेट करी रोटेशन
पर क्वार्क का ग्लूऑन तो फ्री ना क्या कुछ फ्री सीले से ना मैग्नेटिक फील्ड देबी तो आपण देखी भी हम सब करी सेटा थ्रू जेट्स ओके you can again look in details of it. For example, if there are 3 jet events, then there is a nice article on a popular level at South Korea, recent one. But of course, you should look at the original papers that these jets are actually manifestation of these quarks and gluons. Okay. So basically, the idea is that if we are trying to look at if such lightly ionizing particle or fractional charge particles observed, what could be a consequence of it? An observation of fractional charge would be important, since depending on the type of particle observed, it might mean confinement breaks down under certain circumstances, or an entirely new class of particles exists. Because whatever fractional charge we know are quarks and gluons, and they are always confined inside hadrons. Actually, this search was popularized by Nobel laureate Martin Pearl. Do you know for which he got Nobel Prize? There is a very nice review article by him. He is no longer alive. Called Martin Pearl. Okay, you look up. Actually, one alumni here, Sanjay Swai, was a postdoc with him at Fermilab. Martin Pearl. Tau neutrino. So, okay, anyway, so this is what we are searching for. We could not find. So I will show you again the sensitivity curve. This is the intensity. I mean, this is sort of flux. How many particles are coming per centimeter square per solid angle. Solid angle the unit? Very good. Per second. Okay. With 90% confidence. How do we the confidence to quantify physics? Probably can be. But a simple example very good. Confidence level 90%, 95%, 99%. Huh? जोर से बोल कॉइन टसिंग करी तो 50-50 सब बोले 90 के भाई example. Okay, the simple way is got a Gaussian distribution. The simple dhara a room mein we are trying to measure acceleration due to gravity. तो बार pendulum नहीं measure करते. How many of you are there? You are, suppose you are 100 of you are there. Okay, each of you make measurements separately. Okay, then if you plot that measurement, what would be the distribution? Most likely, it will have some average value, and it will be a Gaussian distribution. Some fluctuation to the left, some fluctuation to the right. Okay. Now, if you take this Gaussian distribution, how do you define a Gaussian distribution? By its mean, then sigma, standard deviation, and some normalization constant, right? Now, if you integrate the area within plus minus 1 sigma, what is it compared to the total area? Have you done that integration or no? Then it culture. Root 2 समय previous lecture में सुनिए खाली root 2. Oh, hello. That's integration के परिबो. So it is plus minus 1 sigma with the area is roughly 68%. So what does it mean? That if I do 100 measurements, then there is 68 times probability that it will lie within the region, right? 2 sigma there, I think it is 94%. So say हिसाब रे confidence level दिया जाए. How good is the measurement? So that is this flux. It is a fraction of charge. 1 by f माने this value means I am trying to look for a particle which has charge 1 by 10 to the power 4 times the charge of electron. So this is the space we have ruled out. That means at any point here that such a particle with this flux and this charge does not exist. Okay. So this is one interesting work which came out on search for fractional particles. Now, as I told you, the most important thing is to set up experiment here so that we all can come together and participate. We are trying to set up, this is in a uranium mine. Uranium is actually not a suitable place because it will emit neutrons. But still there is no other place to start with. This is in Jadugada. Okay, inside it, all uraniums have been taken out. So now you have a cave and over it there is a lot of overburden. Okay, that means it can block all the cosmic particles which are coming. So if this is again this water equivalent and this is number of muons, cosmic muons, and this is the water equivalent depth. For example, the experiment in which already data has been taken, Sudan is here. The experiment which we are planning to take data will be somewhere here. Okay, and Jadugada Uranium Science Laboratory. Okay, this is somewhere here. We found from lot of simulations, simulating the rock profile to quite a bit of, and also looking at the cosmic particles which are coming there. All these simulations tell us that we are, this is again, you see, cross section versus mass of dark matter. So we can reach, this is cross section not in centimeter square but picobar. We can reach with a 200 kg detector operating for 1 year. This is the level of sensitivity. That means if dark matter particle with this mass range and these cross sections following this line exist, we should be able to do that. It is highly competitive. In the world result, it is falling in those gaps. Okay? So it is possible to set up an experiment. Another place is INO, which if we set up an experiment, it will be called DINO. Dark matter search experiment at INO. And you see, this Jadugada was here. Now Diano is somewhere here. Okay, it is at much larger depth. So it will be shielding lot of particles, which are backgrounds to our measurements. Again, there are efforts to set up this experiment here. The experiments like the ones I showed. Okay, I will end here by saying that although we have not found anything, but remember, once it was thought that neutrinos cannot be detected. Okay, 1930s they were supposed to have existed, but we detected in 1956 all the different kinds of neutrinos. Similarly, gravitational waves were also attempts started to look for it in 1983, and finally in 2015 we detected it. Okay, it took again a large amount of time. Higgs boson took 48 years. Dark matter, 90 years people are searching, but we are not able to see. But don't give up hope. I know that when this dark matter experiments, they were almost at the the best sensitivity to detect, and then they detected it. Almost they were at the last phase that okay, if we don't detect with this sensitivity, perhaps we will not detect. You know, they were detecting length changes 10 to the power minus 18 meter. That small change in length has to be detected to detect those events. So similarly, one should not lose hope. Although it is 90 years, it's an important topic. Plus, quantization of electric charge is still one of the most fundamental of the nature's puzzle, which is also not resolved. So, if you are interested when you go and do PhDs, keep in mind these two topics. They are also addressing some important unsolved problems in physics. So, join those efforts. Maybe you have better ideas and better ideas, and you are more smart, and you can suggest much more to address. No, okay, I don't have the quote from C.V. Raman, maybe I can pull it out. There are many things to be looked for, and you can really contribute. For example, lambda is equal to h by p. Who gave that? At what age? What is your age? So, there's a very nice quote by C.V. Raman who says that young people has very important role in figuring out such unsolved problems. Okay, thank you very much. Calculate color. Any questions from the participant? Yeah.
So, how do you differentiate dark matter and dark energy?
So, the concept. Dark energy is people figured out that universe is expanding or accelerating. What is the source of energy for this to happen? So that they have attributed as dark energy.
It's a dark matter, then that matter should have some energy.
Yes, that is not same as dark energy. That is not same as dark energy. This is the matter which we are not able to explain some observation in the universe. That dark energy, as far as I understand, I am not from that field, is the universe is accelerating. What is the source of that energy which is causing this acceleration? People have put that as dark energy.
Another question. When we are calculating the recoil energy of the nucleus by detecting the dark matter, so we can detect the neutrinos.
We can detect neutrino with a lot of difficulty, yes.
So why can't we avoid the neutrinos and do the measurements? It will be more accurate.
But how do I know it is neutrino or dark matter?
We can detect the neutrinos before hitting the nucleus. If there's some arrangement to detect
that is a huge arrangement, because that also, Say, if you look at this super Kamiokande experiment, you just see how much water they have put and photomultiplier tube to detect those neutrinos. That itself is a huge experiment. It will be it is okay. You are telling, can you veto out neutrino? Possible, but that scale of experiment is huge.
One of the earlier slides, you said V was less than C, so it was scored. So what was that?
It is just a terminology to say that it is not relativistic. It is not moving with huge speeds. That's all. It is just a terminology to put it. There was at that time lot of debate whether it's a hot dark matter or basically relativistic or non-relativistic.
So the detectable particles are very cold inside your refrigerator, isn't it?
Yes.
So they are like of the order of millikelvin.
Millikelvin.
So when they hit certain metal or certain lattice, I think, due to that you get lattice vibration. So what kind of lattice is that? The wall of the detector? Or?
No, these are the nuclei of the detector. The silicon nuclei or the germanium,
Yeah.
which they are made up of.
So that is the lattice. But at this cold temperature, this is detectable still. This.
We need to go to cold temperature so that there is no vibration.
Okay. And this
Only vibration is because of this. Penetrate the visible matter. It is hypothesized to exist everywhere. So, but it doesn't interact, so it doesn't affect. Only interaction is through gravitational interaction, which we will not feel daily life.
So we are going underground to conduct this experiment.
Underground, so that we see there are a lot of cosmic particles coming, whose origin, by the way, we don't know where they are coming from, where they are going. So, but those also can cause these signals that we get in detector. How do we stop them? So you put lot of material so that they are stopped there. They don't reach my experimental site.
How dark matter will...
They don't interact. Any stopping would need some kind of interaction. That means a process by which the particle will lose energy or get converted into other forms. So, but dark matter doesn't undertake strong interaction, doesn't undertake electromagnetic interaction. So they can pass through.
How do you know that only a neutron mimics the dark matter?
No, it is not only neutron. Neutron is a difficult candidate because it has mass which is larger than other neutral particles which are abundantly available and has no charge. So it is a tricky background for experiments like this. Experiment like we do. Not in other like collider and other things I am not talking about. Experiment like this. There is radioactivity, natural radioactivity everywhere. Those are backgrounds. High energy photons are also backgrounds.
So why Jadugura was taken?
Because it is a carrot. It is a uranium mine and there is radioactivity. So anyway, we measured and found that it is under control. Actually, people have not explored. We have to do a shielding arrangement. Not many people have gone around and found what is the optimum site to do. One which was located in Madurai, close to Madurai, due to some from non-science reason, elephant neutrino will kill something so like that. Reasons it is not allowed.
So is there any other particle which can mimic the dark matter and can find...
No. What we are looking at is one prediction. There are all these. Axion can be dark matter. So we are looking at only weakly interacting massive particle, wind. There are many other proposals. We don't know. This is one of the promising, people say. So we are looking for it. People have now, because you see, it is actually no mass candidate. So people are now looking for axions. It's another class of particles. But remember, whatever it is, it has to solve this missing mass problem. So it has to be in sufficient amount to solve this. So that's why this was a promising candidate.
So why exactly the transition edge sensors work?
Transition
Transition
edge?
edge sensors
Ah.
in the detection principle.
Ah.
How exactly the detector?
Superconductivity, I mean, you keep the detector at the temperature where it is critical temperature. Below it, it is superconducting. You try to maintain.
So below
That's
it,
why this temperature you have to treat. You have to have a system which is making them exist at a particular temperature. Okay.
So you have to maintain that superconducting temperature throughout the
Temperature.
experiment.
Yes, that's why you need a refrigerator, and this technical name is dilution refrigerator. Okay, it keeps it at around 50 millikelvin. Now, when the dark matter came, it imparted, generated lattice vibration, which generated heat. Heat will change the temperature,
Then there will be signal detection.
change in resistance.
Okay, that will be detected.
Huh. Predict कले से जो तीन चारटा ऑब्जर्वेशन अच्छी possibly one can explain. ओ माने कंजर्वेशन ऑफ एनर्जी माने काई भय କଥା माने बुझ पले सेठी देखो से जो फॉर एग्जांपल ए रोटेशन कर्व टा को बुझिबा पई either okay I have not told you one set of people are saying that this gravitation is not correct. Modified Newtonian gravity करके if you look MOND MOND search कले मिलेगा से क्वेश्चन है यही but we know that this is fairly well explaining things. So जब this is valid, then this curve cannot go like this. It has to go down. So how can it go like this? Only when this quantity is not correct. So there must be more mass somewhere spread in the galaxy. So that is the source of this missing mass. There are other signatures which I did not say or did not show, like large scale galaxy structure formation and how जो galaxy structure जो दुसुची, that is actually it is the pattern of dark matter, and when matter was formed, it got attracted to this dark matter acted as a source of attraction, and that is how galaxies got formed. Is one of the explanation of the structure in universe.
Any other question? If there is no question, let's thanks to the speaker.
Thank you.